Hi everyone, it's the EnglishSimmer here, and welcome back to another video where I'm just gonna complain about The Sims 4 for probably about 20 minutes. This was inspired by the one and only Plumbella. A couple of weeks ago now, she took to her standing desk, she got up on her Plumbob podium and talked about all the things that annoyed them in The Sims 4. In Jessie's own words, the things that boiled their piss. So today I'm gonna be talking about the things that personally boil my piss. If I was pissing on the floor like my little Sims, what would leave a scorching burn patch that you could never ever remove? I'm gonna start off in Create a Sim. I did a video way back when now talking about like Create a Sim basically being left behind. The only things that have really come for Create a Sim recently have been pronouns and sexuality, which I am so glad for. But the actual tool of Create a Sim really does feel like it's falling way behind in the year of 2023. I spend a lot of time in Create a Sim. I like putting my whole plum bussy into creating my Sims, and I unfortunately cannot always do that because the accessorizing. Oh my goodness. I just wish that you could apply makeup and also facial accessories to every single category outfit. We have like, what, 7 categories now in Create a Sim? And if you are anything like me, you are sick to the back teeth of having to go through every single one of those, add a nose piercing in, trying to go back and seeing where the nose piercing was. Was it on the left side? If it was on the right side? Why do we not just have a little lock button that says apply for all categories? It would be so much easier to opt out of a certain category. For example, if you want to take your nose piercing out in your sleepwear, just click the little X next to the facial accessories and boom, it's gone. Instead of having to hunt through if your Create a Sim is anything like me and you definitely have a problem when it comes to removing CC from your game, your lists are so long and it's sometimes so hard to find the item that you want. This might be a very personal one, and I know it's kind of representative of real life, and you might be a fan of that realism, but for me, it absolutely grinds my gears, and it's the fact that black swatches do not match. We could get a suit that's like top and bottoms in the same pack that you're like, oh, these were made for each other. Like, it looks like it's meant to be a two-piece. If I just go to this color swatch on the top and then this color swatch on the bottom, this will be the most perfect outfit. No, wrong. I will say there's rarely ever a true black in The Sims 4. I feel like most have like shades of grey, or they have like shades of really deep blue. And I get it, like sometimes if you want to do like a slight mix and match, but I just think swatches should be cohesive. Even if we only stick it to the same pack, like give me matching blacks in the same pack. I still don't really understand how we don't have the option to save outfits or also favorite specific items. The tagging system is the worst in The Sims 4. I feel like that really needs a look at just in general, in build mode, in Create a Sim. Have you ever noticed that the werewolf boots that look like Doc Martens don't actually exist in cold weather? I have, and you know how I've noticed that? Because I spend so much time in Create a Sim and I use those boots so frequently, and every single time I forget that they're not there. I know not everyone likes using the same assets over like all their Sims, but some of the in-game assets are actually really good. I'm trying to give the Sims team credit here. Like, you lot put some really good stuff in the game that I like to use an awful lot, especially when it comes to like townie makeovers and things. Just let me favorite an item and then give me a little favorite section. It could just be below styled outfits, and then I could just have all the items that I use frequently just chilling in there. And finally, for Create a Sim, I feel like this one is a very personal one, but sometimes the career outfits are just a hot mess. Most of the time, they're not what I'm looking for when it comes to a career outfit. And I'm fairly sure there's like a way to change them. I'm fairly sure there are cheats that exist that actually allow you to change the outfits that your Sims wear to their jobs. But I really wish that when you got into a career in your gameplay, you could then then hop back into Create a Sim and then having a little extra column that was just a little briefcase that suggested it was workwear, and then you could choose up to 5 outfits that you actually wanted to wear to work that actually made sense for the story that you were telling. I just feel like they're outdated. I like that you unlock outfits like as you progress through your career, and I'm not saying that they all need to be unlocked from the get-go, but just give me the opportunity to change those outfits. When it comes to build and buy mode, you all know I don't hang around in build and buy mode very often. I like to do interiors, and that's pretty much it. But kind of going off the same sort of thought process as favorites in Create a Sim, we already have a little folder icon. You might not have seen it in build and buy mode. You may never ever use this feature, which is fair and valid. But if you actually go to like the room system, there's a little folder that basically just says saved rooms. If you click on that little folder icon, it shows all the rooms from the gallery over the years that you actually have in your library, which is wild because that feature actually isn't used anywhere else in The Sims 4. It's not used in Create a Sim. It's not used in Manage Worlds for like families that you've favorited in the past. It's literally just in build and buy mode, which makes me think they already kind of have the programming in build and buy to be able to give us folders. Why not just expand that? Say if I wanted a folder that was called like generic gamer room, and I could basically just sort all the items that I feel would fit into that and that I use quite frequently if I ever have a gamer sim. I can just really easily head to my folder, click on it, and be like, okay, this is what I usually use. I don't have to go scrolling through a whole list of build and buy mode objects, and I just feel like it would feel so cathartic. I also feel like builders would get so much use out of that. We all know that debug is a hot mess. Yes, there are mods out there that kind of make it easier to use, but also some people don't have the opportunity to download mods or custom content. So having fixes to those problems actually within the game is very good just for everyone. And finally, moving on to gameplay, probably the portion of The Sims 4 that I personally spend my most time in. And the one thing that inspired this video, I really try not to like focus on glitches too much, especially if they're not like game breaking. However, this one, I can't look past it. It's been in my game for the longest time now. It felt like it got fixed for like maybe a month and then it just came back with a vengeance. Oh my god. It had my name on a blade and was like, I'm gonna wipe out your entire game. Have fun playing with me in here. I felt personally attacked that this glitch wormed its way back in. I feel like you already know what I'm gonna say. It's the plants reverting to mud every single time you load into a save file or a household. I love gardening. How many times has gardening been looked at? How many times has it been worked on? How many times have they introduced new features to gardening? We got it in cottage living. We got it when seasons came out. We got it in base game. They have played around with it so flipping much, and yet it's still broken. You would have thought that it maybe would have been fixed, you know, with the release of horse ranch and nectar making being a really big thing. You know, when you actually really need a garden to work so that you can have produce to make nectar of. But no, every single time I have to load into a house that I know has a garden, I know I'm gonna have to spend the next 10 minutes shift clicking every single plant on that lot, setting it to a blossoming life stage, and then waiting till the next day so it actually starts to grow fruit again. If I'm lucky, if overnight it doesn't magically despawn back into a pile of mud. I don't understand how it works. It feels like all the evil magic in the world is working against me when it comes to this glitch. And I don't even think I'm being dramatic at this point. A lot of my frustration with The Sims 4 comes from not being able to organize things the way that I want to. I've already talked about favorites. I've already talked about a folder system in build and buy mode. How about if that gets introduced, they then take that folder system and add it to a Sims inventory. I am an inventory girly. Every single game I play, I think it's why I love farm simulation games so much. I hold on to everything. Yes, I know it overloads my game. Yes, I know I probably shouldn't do it, but I have such sentimental value over my objects within video games that my Sims inventories just become a hot mess of so many different things. There's no way for you to filter them. them. There's no way for you to organize them. If you could create little mini inventories within your inventory, my life would be complete. Say if I could have a little folder for all of my produce, and then I could have a subfolder under that was like all my fruit, all my vegetables, all my herbs. This could also work with fridges. It could work with the brand new like chests and the little memento boxes that we've got recently. I need it. I need it so badly. You know that feeling when you want to have your kid host a birthday party for themselves and you go to plan an event and it's like, oop, an adult needs to do this. And you're like, oh, that's fine. I'll just go to their grown-up and have their grown-up throw this birthday party for them instead. And then you swiftly realize that your grown-up doesn't actually know any of your kid sim friends. Because unless you invite them over after school, then when are they really ever gonna come into contact with them? Which is why I consistently go on about this, and to be fair, we kind of got it a little bit in Horse Ranch. We did get a slight open invite when it came to the brand new 2 events. You can kind of invite like a lot of people, even if you've never really interacted with them, because it feels more like an open day. Can you just take that feature and please add it to every single event? Just have a household menu of everyone that I actually know, even if I've only interacted with them once or twice. If they're only an acquaintance, have them in a household relationships menu so that I can just invite everyone and I don't have to worry about one sim knowing one half of the family and the other sim knowing the other half of the family, and then one half of the family is always going to miss out. Speaking of events, birthday parties absolutely suck. I really feel that it would not hurt for them to look at base game events and think like, oh, how could we update these? Like, this game's been out for 9 years now. It feels like these are falling behind. What can we do to actually make them more interactive and more fun for our players? Especially when there are events like birthday parties that you actually throw a fair amount throughout your sim's life. The baby shower in Growing Together, perfect. Love her, icon, legend. She was everything I wanted her to be. The fact that your guests can actually just like off the cuff randomly give your sims presents to then pass down to their little ones is chef's kiss. Beautiful. I love it. I love taking those items and telling little stories, wrapping them in with like the guests and like why they decided to choose that present, even though I know it's completely random. Like, imagine your little kid's friend coming up to them being like, here you go, here's this present I got you. We already have the gift giving feature. I just feel like it would make birthday parties feel more realistic and also like they were worth playing. Again, another one that's kind of more to do about like organization and actually setting up your save file, but being able to actually save certain holidays or even just a calendar in general. The amount of new games that I start and then I just have to go straight into the calendar and switch it all up. Like, I have to add in a spooky day every single time I play because it's not there from the get-go. I would love having a little saved folder on your calendar and just going through and like clicking around, just being like, hey, add this to this day, or even just being able to save our own custom calendar, and then you could easily exit out of the holidays that you don't want to celebrate in a specific save file. The amount of times I've downloaded a really, really cute lot off the gallery, it's like a little pumpkin picking farm, but they have the vendors on them and I'm like, this is going to be so cute. Like, we could go get ourselves a little hot drink whilst we are picking pumpkins. No, because when you place down a community lot that has one of those vendor tents, you actually have to pay with your own Sims money to actually get a vendor to spawn, which most of the time I don't mind doing, but I also feel like most of the time they don't even spawn when you do pay. I just wish that the game was somehow already programmed to have a vendor at that stand if you place a lot down with a stand or with multiple stands. And finally, when you are like off lot with someone, it is the downfall of not having an open world, I feel. And it's the fact that you ask them to take care of themselves and you're like, they'll be fine. Like, realistically, what is gonna happen? Then you're out and about for like 4 hours on another like community lot or something. You head back home and you realize that everyone's needs are in the red. I told you to look after yourselves. Why is Charlie pissing up the walls? Why do you look like you've been doing a 40-hour shift and you're stinky as hell? Why hasn't the child eaten? What is going on? It's the same when they're in work. Like, why can you not just go to the toilet whilst you're in work? Why do you have to come home, pee on the ground outside when you could have just gone to the office toilet? I know getting pee shy is a thing. I am sympathetic towards that, but please look after your needs when I am not able to. Ooh, that felt good to get off my chest. I swear, the gardening one, I can't go on about it any longer. It's annoying me all over again, but thank you all so much for listening to my little rant. I hope some of you were able to relate to some of these points. I would love to know, if you were a sim, what would get your plumb bob red? What would make you absolutely enraged to the point where you may actually pass away? Dramatic, I know, but it's happened more times than I probably would like to admit in my Sims game. I feel like the comments can be a space for you to get everything off your chest, just like yell into the void, and to be honest, I'll probably agree with you on most things. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you to Jessie for inspiring this one, for allowing me to let my feelings be heard and be known. I appreciate you all always, and I will speak to you all in my next one. Bye now.